Maybe the bread was the bowl we made along the way.
Hey, I know what we're gonna analyze. The episodes in season 5. Hope it brings you laughter. This is Afterferb.
Sooty up, diddy up, diddly weebity boo. Scooty up, diddly up, down in Kalamazoo. We're doing more chores, thank you, Uncle Oslo. And this is Afterferb. All right, here we are, starting the episode.
We got a second theme song today? Heck yeah.
It always had a second verse, but it was never apropos until right now.
Yeah, that's the secret fourth verse of Quirky Worky Song / second verse of Afterferb.
It's one and the same.
Welcome to this episode. It's me, it's Alex. I'm back. We've got Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hello. I'm also back.
We got Zach.
This might surprise you. I'm also back too.
And you know who else is not back, but rather here for the first time? We have a fourth person in the call.
What?
Straight from the top of the episode.
What?
Yes, indeed
What?
we do.
This has never happened on Afterferb before.
It actually hasn't. We usually wait for a brief intermission.
Yeah, except when we had Olivia Olsen on, but this is the second time technically. But anyway.
Well, equally important.
It's MWCA's Holly of Holly Jolly Christmas with over 300,000 TikTok followers, as seen on television's ABC cosplaying Penny Proud, and has technically performed live at the Coliseum in Rome. Everyone say hi to Lily Mayo.
Hey. Yeah, that tripped me up. I forgot I performed at the Coliseum. I'm just booked and busy.
What was the context
I had
for
no
that?
idea you did.
No, I was Lizzie McGuire because we were going to Rome, and I'm like, well, I gotta throw a Lizzie McGuire outfit together because when else would I be here?
When in Rome.
Yeah, you do as Miss McGuire would do, and this is what dreams are made of. So I made it happen.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Lily, you're really the champion of pretty much any Disney Channel content from the era leading up to Phineas and Ferb, like all of the 2000s stuff.
I mean, somebody tell Disney Channel that. Where is my show, actually? I haven't been asking, but they should offer.
Well, Zach, you're still good with the casting directors, right?
Come again?
You're a Disney Channel casting director. You can get Lily on like Casey Undercover.
Yeah, but like I don't know if Lily. I mean, do you want to do the live action It's a Laugh productions from 2015 to 2018? Because if so, I might have an in.
All right,
that's it.
Hey,
call Howard Meltzer and Suzanne Goddard Smythe up. Shout out Howard and Suzanne.
Oh my God, Howard and Suzanne. Yeah, I'm
They're
down.
definitely listening right now.
Howard and
They
Suzanne,
are.
if you're listening, Howard and Suzanne, we'd love to have you on as a guest.
Personally, I think they are listening because this is a very special episode because both of these episodes in this pair were bangers, which is why we may or may not have two guests on this episode.
Yeah, not to blow our opinions right away, but these episodes were so fire, we needed two guests to talk about them.
Stacked
is
pair.
true.
They couldn't contain.
Yeah, all right, so let's start, Lily, with you talking in maybe 2 minutes or less about your general experience and relationship to and with Phineas and Ferb, up to and including your thoughts on season 5 so far.
All right. I feel like Phineas and Ferb was one of those things that I accidentally ended up watching because at a glance, I'm like, this looks a little goofy. And I mean, that's crazy coming from someone who's got trash in their username. But I still looked at it like, I don't know about this, guys. They're funny shaped. But all right, I'll see. I'll give it a shot. And trying to explain it to other people is so funny. Like I was watching it and my roommate came in mid watching an episode and like he just wanted to finish watching the episode with me, and him trying to like understand how everything connected was so interesting. He's like, so is the doctor guy trying to is he trying to stop the kids? And I'm like, you're not following. Let's bring it back.
Was this his reaction to a season 5 episode?
This was.
Okay.
But I had to explain the general premise to him and like break it down to like, no. These things are connected, but not in the direct way that you're thinking they are. And it's gonna come back to his innators and they're gonna make things. She wants to bust, and then I felt like I had red strings. And I'm like, this must be how Andrew felt trying to put this musical together. So I feel like, wow, finally I'm in.
You're just the doctor from Deconstructing Doof.
Yes, I was fighting for my life trying to explain it. He seemed to get it, and then he was like, okay, wait, this is kind of funny. And I like the comedic timing that the show has is hard to explain as well, because it's something about how they write they do such a good job writing things to line up with other things, and also somehow write in a way that kids can be like hee hee ha ha, but I, as I guess an adult, can comprehend
I
it.
guess.
It's like, what a what a fun vocabulary word, what a fun like callback that was.
Yeah.
And just be so impressed with the writing that they've done. I mean, even just this season, I'm so impressed with how obviously it still feels like the show that it started as, even though it still has an element of freshness to it. But I don't know, they've also turned things on their head so well and have just fully leaned into the insanity. Not that they didn't before, but like since watching the Candace suit episodes, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we're just having fun.
I want to quickly ask a question to you, Lily, that we asked all the way back on our episode where we discussed Lord of the Firesides, but seeing as we now have another fellow Fireside girl with us, thoughts on Down with Issa Smella?
I mean, somebody had to tell her, because I have so many questions. I feel like she has been in charge for so long. I was never in the Girl Scouts. I was in the Brownies, but I think even then I questioned like how come we're not like altering who's running this a little bit. I love her, Miss Issa Smella, but I'm not that mad that they ride again. I know that was like not directly their fault, but
if you had to completely unbiased pick one Fireside girl to be in charge, who would it be?
I mean, low-key, I would say Holly, simply for, nepotism, because that's me. But if I couldn't say her, nepotism, because that's what nepotism is, I probably would say Gretchen. I feel like she should have a try. I feel like
she has everything together.
She's put in the work.
Yeah, she gets the most dialogue.
It's not going to be Millie, so...
I feel like captain of the Fireside Girls is not the role that necessarily needs to have term limits. Like, if Isabella's doing a very good job and everyone wants her to still be the leader, like, I don't know. I don't have a problem with that.
That is the most positive thing I've ever heard Alex say about a politician.
Wow.
Wow. And it's Isabella Garcia Shapiro, 11 years old.
You know what?
Well, we all know that the fate of the tri-state area's economy is in the Girl Scouts' hands because of Drugenfest, so you're not far off.
I think Vanilla and Red Velvet was like subliminally, like something else. It meant something else. We were supposed to interpret it a whole different way.
That was a metaphor.
Yeah, it meant healthcare.
I said, where's the chocolate party? Like, where's the funfetti?
We've all got a cupcake controlling us.
Yep. All right, I'm going to start talking about this episode now. Dinner reservations.
Good idea.
I was very much looking forward to this because this is, I think, one of the episodes Olivia Olson sort of teased when we talked to her a little while ago when we were asking her about Vanessa and Monty. Will that relationship be followed up on? And she pretty much said, yeah, you wait. And this was kind of it. And it's the moment where the secret that has literally been a secret for 11 years, finally we get to see it kind of exposed. And we get to see it play, and they really take their time with it and focus the episode entirely around it. They do it of very good justice. I would agree with the assertion that this was a back-to-back bangers.
Absolutely.
It was.
No, I think this one lived up to the hype. While it was disappointing to have yet another episode in this season where we don't see much of the characters Phineas and Ferb, I feel like we didn't want that in this episode. We wanted to see as much of this Monty Vanessa plot play out as possible.
Yeah, I feel like to explore it as thoroughly as they did, they needed to make it the focus. I think this was an instance where making the doof side of the episode, the A plot, was fully justified. One thing that I've noticed as a common thread in a lot of the episodes that Olivia and Martin wrote are they have lots of moving parts and lots of sequences that feel like they could take up a full 10 minutes if it was in a film. Like in Deconstructing Doof, it was the interrogation scene. In this episode,
with multiple characters having their piece to say.
Yeah, in this episode, it was Doof saying, "Perry, see me in my office," and that whole bathroom scene where everybody's sharing their piece. They just, I know we talk about runtime a lot on here and should this be longer, but as far as maximizing the time they're given, I think Olivia and Martin are the kings.
And that sequence was just such a treat to see how everybody confides in Perry. Everybody loves him regardless of whether they're good or evil.
Perry, did you know
Mary, did you know? No, they do. They nail the pacing where I'm like, I understand that this is a shorter episode, as all of them are, but it never feels like that. It feels like I'm watching a solid 25 minutes every time. That
Yeah.
the confessional of it all, I would tell Perry anything. Because what's he gonna do? I mean, just say
Well, because
that.
he's such a great listener.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you have to be when you can only go. "Arr."
Yeah, and it'd be impossible
That was a
for
good
him to tell your secret to anyone unless you wrote it down or something.
Well, I was just going to say, like, Perry obviously doesn't speak, but
What?
the moment towards the end of the episode where he is just using his chatter and speaking emotionally to Doof and Monogram, even though Doof has that gag, it's like, I didn't understand anything you said, but I felt it. That was such a great Perry moment. Perry, I think, had his best moments of the season in this episode.
I agree. And if you remember on one of our first episodes of Afterferb, when we had Carly as a guest, she was relaying info that apparently Dan said in an interview like years and years ago, that Perry could always talk. He's just never had anything to say. And I think this was an instance where we maybe saw him having something to say. It was quite beautiful.
Well, then on the other hand, though, this proves that he actually can't talk because he had something to say and it didn't actually come out in words. So
I think they got the message.
But what if that was his intention? Well, it makes me think of like Lilo and Stitch when she's like, "Talk, I know you can," and then he's like, "Okay, okay." And she's like, "Oh my god!" Like, is he afraid that people's reaction to it? But at this point, I'm like, "Come on, I actually think it would come in handy."
Lily
if you just
says,
spoke once.
with a Lilo and Stitch poster behind her in her Zoom background right now.
It's my favorite movie.
Love
I
that.
love a little blue colored anthropomorphic animal creature that has to save the day. Perry's bluish. I'll count that.
It's a niche demographic, but I agree.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right. I want to wind back a little bit to the start of the episode because I found the way they kind of paced was very interesting because we actually start out in the backyard with Phineas and
Which
Ferb.
is now unusual.
Which, well, that's not the I guess it is kind of, it's definitely not something you can rely upon. But we sit there for kind of a minute. It's only, I would say, unexpected in this episode because it's so not the focus. We're with them for a minute and then we're kind of off to the dinner plot. And I think it's a good choice because we kind of can sit uninterrupted at the dinner plot for a pretty long time until we circle back to the drones at the end. But yeah, Buford definitely was shine. I mean, obviously he shines more later on in the Red Bull hot tub, but even at the beginning of this one, he's talking all about his Uncle Oslo. And I think he sounded a little different. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that. I think usually they pitch up Bobby Gaylor a little bit to do Buford. It sounded at the beginning of this episode like he wasn't pitched up. He sounded like a little bit of a deeper voice.
Oh,
Maybe it's because they were trying to make him more wistful, thinking about his Uncle Oslo, who, by the way, I love and I want to see more of. I really like Uncle Oslo. He even confided in Perry later in the episode.
I hope he's next uncle. I hope he later has like Uncle Stockholm and Uncle Helsinki.
I didn't notice that about Bobby Gaylor's voice.
Yeah,
though.
I think this marks a rare instance on Afterferb where Alex noticed a weird animation / voice thing that I did not.
Something I loved about the first minute of this episode, both of them involve Uncle Oslo, is there were two back-to-back references of two of my favorite pieces of media. The car wash scene, very clearly a parody of the Night at the Roxbury SNL sketch with Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, Jim Carrey. And then,
so for those of you that don't know SNL the way Zach does, you've probably seen this as a meme where it's just people banging their head in a car to What Is Love.
But that is from the sketch in the 90s. And also, when they're talking about the Christmas lights, there's like a musical pastiche to Somewhere in My Memory.
Yes,
Home
I wrote
Alone.
that too.
Yes, and I, as Home Alone, being one of my favorite Christmas movies, I'm like, oh my goodness, not only is this an episode about Monty and Vanessa meeting, Doof and Monogram, but we get an SNL reference and a Home Alone reference. I was on board within a minute.
Thank you for saying Home Alone is probably one of the best Christmas movies.
It is. It's a perfect script.
It's really good. I just noticed how like all of his family have that same emblem, so I'm like, now what's that about? Because I know
Like
it's like a
emblem?
cartoon joke to like make it clear that this is his family, but I'm like, there's got to be something going on there because the other families aren't like that.
Well, was it Tropey McTropeface that we saw most of Buford's family introduced this season?
I think so.
The family reunion.
And we get another callback to Tropey later in the episode.
Which
It's not real time.
I had a thought about that literally at the beginning of this call that I was wondering, because Zoetrope God, right? He's the canonical god of the universe.
As we've agreed on.
I forget if we talked about this on Tropey McTropeface, and if we did, feel free to cut this out completely. But I think it makes sense in the Phineas and Ferb universe that a zoetrope is a god, because a zoetrope is just the same animated sequence you see going over and over and over again.
So it's like the fabric of reality.
Like the fabric of reality, which is Candace doing everything over again, Doof doing everything over and over again. It makes sense that a zoetrope is the Phineas and Ferb universe god.
But we also find out in this episode he's only god for zoetropes.
Because never mind. In that case, forget everything I said.
Yeah, because he says, I thought you were a zoetrope.
Yeah, sorry, not my problem if you're not a zoetrope.
Never mind. I thought I was being insightful.
Oh, it sounded clever for a second.
You might be onto something.
You would have been insightful if you were a zoetrope.
So let's go back to the very beginning of this dinner plot, because we start with Heinz and his flashcards, and he's practicing the questions that he might ask in the conversation. And the 4 questions that we're able to read are you rich? Always a great first question to start with. Are you employed? Do you have a criminal record? And who is your favorite villain?
So he wants the answer to the 3rd question to be yes.
I was kind of hoping that those questions would be like, what's your mom's maiden name? What was the name of your first pet? And those like
Social security number.
questions.
Yeah, credit card.
The street you grew up on.
Are you rich? No.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what was the second question?
Are you employed?
Too much, yes. I'm Carl, so.
Are you part of a sidekicks club?
Yes.
That was such a delightful moment.
And I knew you were going to say that.
More than an intern. Yeah. We have this table turninator, which I agree is one of the pettiest donators yet. Did I miss it, or did they not make like a how the tables have turned joke or something like that?
Oh yeah. I was sitting right there.
I mean, I called it the how the turntables donator.
Yeah, I think you said that while we were watching this episode for the first time.
Which is a Jonas Brothers reference.
I thought that was an Office reference.
Oh, maybe it's an Office. Well, maybe
both.
It was the Jonas Brothers making an Office reference. I'm not sure to this day, but there's a clip of them saying that, and they're like picking up a table, and then they do how the turntables.
That's from The Office. It's from The Office.
Then they made a reference. It all comes back full circle like a zoetrope.
How the turntables have turned at the tables.
The entire time I was watching this episode, I was thinking, haven't they done a Lazy Susan plot before? And then I realized just like 2 minutes ago, no, that was BoJack Horseman. Just another really well done animated show.
Or maybe the closest thing they've done is the Mix and Mingle machine. That was kind of like a big Lazy Susan for people to spin around on.
Yeah, I feel like the Zoetrope God would also confuse the Mix and Mingle machine as being one of its subjects.
Yes. I just kept thinking about that restaurant that's in Epcot that spins. I'm like, that's what it should be.
Garden Grill.
For how
and we saw Carl at the Garden Grill.
We did see Carl at the Garden Grill.
Oh my god.
Carl at the Garden Grill, he got his fill. Oh, what a thrill.
I'll post a link to Carl at the Garden Grill in the description to this YouTube video.
We love Carl at the Garden Grill. Also, Carl, with like you mentioned earlier, the Sidekicks gang. Great gag with Carl and Norm. Rare Carl-Norm interaction.
Yeah, I don't ever remember those two interacting.
And I want to see more of Dexter and the chicken guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I honestly, it was so odd to me to see Carl and Norm dining together that I didn't even clock it the first time I watched it. I only really noticed on my second watch. I was like, oh, they're like eating a meal to like Carl, this other guy, and Norm.
Well, we've seen in Drugenfest that now Norm knows what eating is like.
That is true.
God, just the non sequitur of this off-screen chicken villain that we know nothing about, I thought worked really well.
Do you think Dan and Swampy are going to do an episode with them in like season 9?
I think they'd be more likely to show up in like Hamster and Gretel or something.
That makes sense.
I need to see the sidekick dynamic.
I want to ask, just backing it up again a little to the exposition of the episode. We talked a little bit when we discussed Aurora Borealis about like Monty and like, does he actually have rizz, or is he only compelling because of this like Capulet Montague thing they have going on? And I gotta say, I'm kind of erring on the side of this man has no rizz. I don't know if it was just the voice performance, but something about Seth Green going like, your pessimism is very attractive. I was just thinking of Chris Griffin the whole time. Was that just me?
I think we don't get to see enough of it enough to know, because they would have to add in more screen time for him, which I think they should, for us to be able to see if they have good chemistry or not. But they'd only given us him saying a few things when he's on screen. Not enough to know if he's like actually a good conversationalist because he seems kind of regular. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you're listening and you're regular.
If you're a regular man, don't worry.
Don't worry. You could still get a baddie.
Yeah, Andrew, I agree with you. I think I had the same reaction, not in the specifics of the people that you're talking about, but just like, oh my God, that's a man who's trying to flirt and has no idea what to say.
Yeah.
It was painful.
I kind of agree with Norm that she's clearly out of his league.
I agree with Carl that I think they look cute together.
At least he's finally wearing a suit. He's out of that sweatshirt at last.
Yeah.
Vanessa, same outfit though.
Right.
That was weird.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Do you think Vanessa always wears the same black outfit because Martin Olsen always wears the same black outfit?
Oh my God.
That is true. For those of you who don't know, like, Zach and I have seen Martin Olsen in person, probably like 4 or 5 times.
Love that man. Delightful man.
Every single time we've ever seen him, or every single time he's like shown up in one of Dan's TikToks or something, he's wearing the same like black suit jacket and a dress shirt and no tie. Like, I think that's just, he is a cartoon character. He has one default appearance.
That's the Olsens. I love him.
If it works, it works.
Lily, what were your thoughts on Vanessa's fit?
No, I literally, that's in my notes because I was like, that's one of the first things I clock when she appears. I just like that it's just an extension of what she always wears, but just with a skirt. Very
she had a
Mormon
skirt?
core, I guess.
Yeah, it was like slightly longer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's like a Met Gala version of what she, and not even an extravagant one. It's like if the Met Gala theme was Phineas and Ferb, and then someone said, all right, but I look really good in black, so I'll just add a little skirt so it adds some pizzazz.
As soon as Gen Z becomes a wealthy generation, which will never happen, the Met Gala will be Phineas and Ferb themed.
It sounds like you'll have it that way.
Why don't we just put on our own Met Gala and make it Phineas and Ferb themed?
I know what we're gonna do today.
No, the theme could be called like, I know what we're gonna wear today.
Yeah.
Write that
See, I was
down.
about to have the idea, have they ever done fashion? And I'm like, yes, of course they
In
have.
like season 1.
Yeah, they've done everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not a drone show.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes. I was mad that even though I know there's so much illogical things that happen, I was so mad knowing that they're all like those types of Christmas lights, but they would have the drones like cross over each other. That wouldn't work.
Oh wait, I didn't even think about that.
You don't think Phineas and Ferb are capable of programming their drones to move at certain directions so that the cords untangle themselves?
I mean, I'm sure they're smart enough for that, but for some reason, I wasn't seeing it play out. But I mean, listen, I'm here for a drone
Lily's a
show. I'd like to
skeptic.
see more of those. I am a skeptic.
Just on the topic of the drone show, one, I want to say visuals were really cool in this episode, and that I think ties more into that entire song sequence they had.
Yes.
But two, I think for as cool of an invention that this was that Phineas and Ferb did, this has to be like among the top of the inventions where if Linda found out about it, she would not care. She would be like, cool, they made a light show. There's like nothing dangerous or bustable about this one.
Yeah. I do like, I feel like this episode echoes Aurora Borealis in a way, not only because of the Monty Vanessa stuff, but it also has another moment of Candace bringing Linda out to see something and getting another W, and Linda being like, aw, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I've liked those so far.
I like the Candace W's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew, I agree. Like they wouldn't get in trouble for this. I think that's kind of one of the fun things about Candace now is it's a lot less about getting them in trouble and more about proving to her mom that she's not insane. I feel like that's the main, motivating factor for her now.
That was another thing I had to explain with my roommate because he thought he didn't like from the glance that he saw that the mom just wouldn't see the things. So he was like viewing the mom in such a negative light. I was like, no. She just happens to just not see the things. And my friend was like, oh no, like this makes me feel uncomfortable. Like I'm so frustrated with the mom. Like I feel like this is neglectful. I'm like, no, it's not
I feel like
that.
Your roommate that you're describing, I feel like has had a very similar reactions to Phineas and Ferb that like my parents have had because they also at certain points were like, wait, so Dr. Doofenshmirtz is trying to make their inventions go away? And I'm like, no, not at all. And similarly, my dad has asked on multiple occasions, like, does Candace really never bust them? And I'm like, nope, never gets them.
And you're like, have you seen the episode Phineas and Ferb get busted?
Yeah, where it turns out in real life they didn't get busted. So
I feel like we should have Lily's roommate and Alex's parents and my mom
Oh,
on an
I
episode.
At like a meet the parents dinner.
Well, I was gonna say as guests on
at the Fork
show.
of Destiny. Let's take them all to the Fork of
To
Destiny.
the Fork of Destiny.
Which, by the way, I gotta say, what a fantastic fancy restaurant name. Perfect. That's the type. You're like, all right. What's a food related thing? What's some kind of like grand, arrogant sounding word? Fork Destiny. Great. Perfect. That's her name. I thought it was great, and I like that they didn't draw too much attention to it.
Oh yeah. All right. Now that we're discussing the restaurant, I have to bring this up. This is, I think, 4 for 4 of the previous 4 episodes.
Oh yes.
There have been updates with an incidental character. Lily's probably very confused right now. There's an incidental character, Josh, from Phineas and Ferb Christmas Vacation of But It's Christmas Becky fame, who I guess halfway through the season they decided they were going to put him in the background of every episode, and we have been logging what this means for his relationship. We saw him on a date with a different girl at the Duplicated Carnival, and then he was no longer with that girl in Drugenfest. Well, now he's at a fancy restaurant with a different woman. Josh is playing the field. He is getting over Becky. They may all be rebounds, but man, I gotta applaud him for the hustle.
It's something. And you know who, I may be mistaken, but you know who else was in the restaurant? Was the driving instructor from License to Bust.
Oh, was he
my
really?
Gosh.
That's fun.
I have one thing to add about Josh,
Yes.
and it's actually an animation thing. It's my
Oh
second
my
time this
gosh.
season.
Alex coming in with the...
So Perry makes his speech near the end, and then we see Heinz. We see Heinz and it's the moment where Doofenshmirtz says, like, I didn't understand a single thing, blah, 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 blah. If you look in the background of that shot, it's Josh and it's that woman that Josh is on a date with. And the two of them are just completely frozen faces, frozen smiles, not moving at all for like a solid 10, 15 seconds. If you go look, it's uncanny. It's kind of like, they're just not moving at all.
Things I would have never thought to look for.
I didn't look for it. I just noticed it.
They either have no chemistry or they have like the best chemistry in the world to the point where they don't even need to talk, but no in between.
I think you're most comfortable with someone when you could just be in a room and not say anything or blink or
Mouth
breathe,
open,
and then
frozen.
just
have an awkward
comfortable.
frozen smile for 15 seconds while just being perfectly still.
Well, he'll never have the game that Perry has in a suit. So.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah, by the
That
way,
was so
okay,
good.
this feels
Perry's pulling.
okay. This is okay. So it was interesting to me that they made canon the women swoon whenever they hear them say good. I was
It was
not
a long
expecting
time
that to ever
coming.
happen. But I gotta, the fact that everyone in this restaurant knows Perry, has seen Perry before, we honestly are really reaching like Hannah Montana levels of carelessness with keeping this secret. I've got to say, it's kind of getting a little bit. It's getting up there.
Soon there's going to be an entire town that learns and then agrees to keep it a secret.
Yeah. Perry's gonna go to Crowley Corners and be like, "Please don't tell my family that I'm a secret agent. You'll always find your way back."
Gotta.
Gotta.
Well, listen, I loved Agent T, so I'm fine with somebody knowing. I want more dynamics like that, but at the same time, I kind of think it's special when it's like, okay, really only a few people know about this, if that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
On the topic of Agent T, we got a return of Stacy in this episode, which was nice to see, even though it was incredibly brief.
Mhm.
We've learned she's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I wonder if
You can
that's
talk on the phone during it?
well.
That was funny.
What can't she
Stacey
do?
is so talented.
I love her. I want to see more of her. I'm glad they're like keeping her like just enough to remind you she exists. But like Agent T was so good, I would be totally down
was.
for another Stacy focused episode.
She's so multi-talented. Her little animal noises, her song.
I feel like Stacy would be able to understand what Perry said at the end of the episode here.
That would have actually been a great addition if like she had just like happened to have been there and said, he basically said this and then like left. That would have been enough to make her worth our while.
Agreed.
Yes, that would have been a good spot for Stacy to be.
Wait, but I'm not realizing, Monogram and Perry and Carl and Doof now know Stacy's secret, but Vanessa doesn't know that Stacy knows Perry's thing. And Vanessa's the replacement for Jenny in that Candace friend group.
Yes.
So
we
Vanessa
talked about
can't
this in
know
the
about
Slumber Party
Stacy's
episode.
thing, can she?
Well, remember that was another thing that Olivia Olson got a little coy about when we asked her. She was like, "We've talked about it, so
Okay.
we'll see."
We'll see.
Suspicious.
I want to bring. I guess this is getting close to the end of the episode now. What I found interesting about the way that they resolved this Monty Vanessa story, and is it didn't seem at least to me, like it was an outright like win for their relationship. Like they got along during the date. They had moments where they were like holding hands and enjoying it. But they have this interaction at the end where she's like, we like each other, right? We're not just doing this to get back at our dads. And he's like, can it be both? Like kind of in good humor. And then this might have been an animation thing. I'm curious what was written in the script. But Vanessa, like, she doesn't smile at the end. She kind of just like sighs and takes his hand. To me, it almost read as like I'm not sure if this is going to work out. Maybe the like act your age, like they don't end up together is actually coming.
Oh, they're going to break up for real.
I think, yeah. Upon when you first had mentioned that, and then I rewatched it more recently, I did notice like she does kind of look like wary about it.
Yeah,
I completely agree. And it's not even just the way she looked, because even if they did mean to animate it differently, just the fact that she's asking that question, that this date is ending with her going, we do like each other, right? Reads to me, this sounds like someone who's realizing that she's not actually into Monty that much.
Well, because also, even if we're just talking from like a logistics perspective, think of it as like from runtime. There's so many things you have to cut. If they kept that line in, it's because it's important. Like there was no punchline to that interaction between her and Monty.
Right.
That was definitely setting up for a conversation they're probably going to have a little later down the line.
For a second, Zach, I thought you were going to say like they're going to break up for the sake of runtime.
No.
The same way that like
I just meant,
Hines
like,
and Francis like
that-
shake on it for the sake of continuity.
Great line, by the way, for continuity's sake.
Monty, this episode's gone on too long. It's over.
Sorry, you don't get enough screen time as Ferb does. So.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually, this season.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think Ferb is technically on screen more, but
Yeah, he's on screen.
I'd like to hear him speak more. But that could be said every time.
I did like his brief little line at the beginning of this episode where he just goes, sick.
Sick. We also need we need to dial it back really quick to talk about Quirky Ricky having lyrics.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We did not touch upon that.
All I did was refer to it in my little intro. But yeah, we have a secret extra bonus verse.
So years ago, this reminded me, this is a MWCA anecdote, but when we were making MWCA for pretty much every song sequence, even the ones that ended up pre-recorded, we would do a rehearsal, like Zoom meeting, just to kind of talk about it. And we did one for Quirky Worky song where we would have Zach and the other actors playing the characters of the Backyard Gang, just coming up with bits that they were going to do. And at the time, I don't know how the bit evolved, but Zach decided to like go in on an in-depth analysis of all the lyrics of the Quirky Worky song and what sooty up and diddy up and diddly diddly da.
Well, the reason why is
Yep.
because you, as a director, before every scene would be like, so what does this mean to that character?
Yeah.
And then as a joke, you asked, hey, what do the lyrics of Quirky Worky mean? And I was like, oh, I'm going to yes and this so hard and give him like a 2-minute explanation.
And you had some great insight. Maybe I'll put in like 10 seconds of it right here.
Cool.
Sooty up is Phineas's way of saying we need to get ready for the project at hand. For example, Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother always says suit up when he's about to embark on an adventure. Booty up is a way of saying spring into action because you are getting your booty up off the ground or off of a chair or off under the grass underneath the tree where they sit, forcing them to spring into action. Diddly Diddly Da is an homage to High Diddly D, an actor's life from me from Pinocchio.
But now we know, Zach, that the real meaning of this song was all the lights are attached to the drones in the sky. We're not building anything, but we're watching them fly. And I think if we looked closely, we could see that was always what they were meaning to say.
Mm-hmm.
I had tried to translate it. Not really, but I remember thinking, okay, this would be cute if it actually had words. Those weren't the words. I have the notes for what I thought could be words.
Wait,
what
but I
are
didn't
they?
write
Pull 'em
all
up,
of them.
proceeds.
Okay, no. So I was like, I didn't finish it. I literally was like, okay, this is funny. So I wrote, here we go, gonna make something new because the boys in the yard know what they're gonna do.
Hell
And I
yeah.
was
That
like,
goes so hard.
Bars. So you know what? Y'all get to work. Alex, get to work.
We need to make a mashup that strings together
See-
Lily's lyrics and the Uncle Oslo verse and like
Yeah.
RJ's version.
I do think it was a very funny gag that they added those words, but I think it is impossible to beat sooty up, duty up, biddy 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 da. I think that's really honestly says everything that needs to be
It says
said, you know?
flow.
Like sometimes when what you're trying to
Sometimes
say,
suit it up,
when
suit it
it
up.
transcends language, you just gotta say sooty up, booty up, biddy 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 da.
And maybe that's what Perry was saying.
I'm just going to say, I did so many school projects like where I had to like make videos, and anytime I made a video and there was like a montage, I was like, great, I know what music to put underneath it. And I would always use Quirky Worky. Also, if I had a nickel for every time in this episode that a pre-existing song had different lyrics, I'd have 2 nickels. because they also had a different doof jingle.
Oh yeah, Vanessa and Monty are up to something.
Yeah, that was all I had to say about that.
Yeah, a few other little small things I want to point out.
Yeah.
Number one, we got Olivia Olson sing the song kind of as Vanessa, but not really as Vanessa. I thought it was a pretty good song. Interesting choice that they didn't have Vanessa singing it. And it was, though, I don't know.
It was sort of two songs. Like they did that interesting thing where they made it apply to the A and B plot, which they don't do super often. I mean, I think of Busted, but also like the Gordian Knot song. Like every now and then they do that, and it's really cool when they do.
There's two types of different Phineas and Ferb fans. The ones who are like, oh, I love Busted. And the ones who are like, oh, I love the Gordian Knot song.
Yeah.
Real fans.
Yeah, don't forget Blueprints. Glorious Blueprints. They give us endless potentialities.
Blueprints is a banger.
So good.
Shout out Charter Schoolgirl for uploading the raw cut of that one.
Nothing beats Tri-State Aurora, but it's
Tri-State Aurora is
maybe a JetBlue holiday.
That.
Nothing beats a Jet2. Yeah, I like this song. I think this song, for me, it was like decent. And then when it did the turn up the lights, I was like, no, this is actually great. I love this.
We also got Candace swooping in there on the drone show machine and immediately showing great proficiency and making the drones say we're busted.
That was a great gag. I was impressed with her skills there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, she kind of slayed that.
She knows what she's doing.
If she took all that busting energy and put it into her art.
Please.
Not to sound like her mother.
Lily, are there any other things about this episode you want to point out that we haven't gotten to?
Well, let's see. I was saying how I love Monogram in the pink because I know Doof says that he looks bad in pink. Wrong. And then at the end when they're like, oh my gosh, we're not going to talk about how we were like holding each other on the spinning table. Is that a shipper debate? Do they ship them?
Oh, people have definitely shipped Monogram and Doof.
Monodoof?
There was like
Frines.
Oh god, I don't remember where it originated, but there was some comic that was not official Phineas and Ferb media, but it was like done by one of the storyboard artists where it showed like Doofenshmirtz like shirtless and on his lower back he had a tattoo with a heart that said like Francis and Heinz on it. So yeah, it's been entertained before. It is a little cursed because it's just Dan and Swampy, but
that's fair.
You know what? I kind of would like to see a version of this episode where instead of Heinz and Francis, it's Charlene and Major Monogram's ex-wife.
Ooh.
It probably would have gone much smoother.
Yeah, it probably would have been totally fine and normal.
Yeah, they already had a Meet the Mothers dinner and it was like completely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened like a month into them dating. But now Doof met Nostra Boy, which is a very funny callback to Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, no, I like the confirmation that, like, yeah, he did recognize him. He just didn't really fully process it until this moment. That made sense to me.
I have one last question. And it's not a question for me. It's a question from Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Who is your favorite villain?
Ooh. Good question.
Oh, Judge Doom from the critically acclaimed film Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Because that is literally a tune in humans' clothing.
The critically acclaimed film.
Ooh. I'm a fan of Syndrome from Incredibles.
Hey. We should have gone to Oogie Boogie. I think both of them were there this year.
I know. Awesome. I was
And
robbed.
Doofenshmirtz. Doofenshmirtz was there too.
I'm inspired by the background of Lily's Zoom window, but I gotta say Jumbo from the live action Lilo and Stitch. That's a joke.
That is. I was like, woo!
No,
that's a whole other podcast.
My actual answer is from a video game. I would say GLaDOS from Portal 2. She's excellent villain.
How about you, Alex?
I don't have one. Villains are bad.
Wow.
Wow.
The government.
And everybody clapped.
I think villains should be against the law.
Villains should be in trouble.
Whoa.
All right. Well, I think that's the end of this portion of the episode, our dinner reservations.
Yes. Before we go, our structure's a little bit unique today because, spoiler, we have two guests. So Lily's not going to be joining us for part 2. I was just quick before we transition into our bread bowl hot tub portion, Lily. Any thoughts? Any very quick thoughts on that one?
Okay, so there are these things called genjinkas, which is a Japanese word for when you personify something. So, for example, if you had Lightning McQueen and Mater, right, and you drew them as human people, just because you wanted them to do human people things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's what people would say a Ginjika
I've seen those,
is.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, you've totally seen that's like fan art.
I mean, people even do that with like Perry the Platypus, kind of like they'll make him human.
Yeah, like fan art galore. Right, Rosemary is the Ginjika of Perry in real life. So I was saying that I need Chowdina to have a Ginjika. So I don't know who out there will do that for me, but I have visions. I see it, but I think that there would be an artist out there who has that.
It's got to be like a British lady, right?
It has to be a British lady, like a little older. I'm not saying like grand dame core, but like definitely a little older, wise. And I don't know. I want to incorporate the colors, the bread. I don't know what she needs. If she needs a bread hat, whatever it might mean.
If there are any artists out there that want to do it, please post on any social media and tag MWCA.
Yes, I'm making a vow. If you draw anthropomorphic Chowdina, we will not only share your art, we'll let you ask us a question on the next Afterferb.
And probably, if enough people do it, make a whole song about Chowdina and then post all the fan art.
Yes.
Great.
Stacy's mom part 2
is a bread bowl hot tub.
Lily, before you leave, anything you need a plug?
Yeah, plug yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay, I guess, follow me on the gram at Lean Mean Trash Machine. TikTok, same thing. YouTube, same thing. YouTube, if you also look up Lillian Hope, it comes up. But yeah, follow me on there. I'm always posting silly little videos and fun things that I'm going and doing and dressing up and all that jazz. So maybe I'll cosplay Chowdina if you follow me.
Yes.
It's meant to be.
All right.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Yeah,
You were a
thanks for
delight.
coming on.
Thank you, Lily.
It's always a blast talking to you. You're so good at celebrating Disney cosplay and just foolishness, being a goofball, and we're happy to have you on.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Isn't this podcast such a delight? We're taking a pause, but we will be right back now.
I know that's a plant, and that's also a plant. I don't know all the nomenclature, but look at me go, just a regular Joe. I'm gonna commune with my friends about this episode of Phineas and Ferb. Here we are.
Great job, Alex.
Back for part 2, Bread Roll Hot Tub, and as promised, we've got a second guest. Very special one.
Indeed.
As always, Main Street GSO cast member, writer of When Push Comes to Shove, We Didn't Spark the Magic, and the Jungle Cruise theme song with some guy named Zach Timson,
I've heard of him.
also known as the Medley Guy, the fellow so nice they named him thrice, Noah Sunday-Lefkowitz.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Wow, that was so exciting. Thank you for having me.
So it's
Glad you got a kick out of that.
It's interesting. The guest that we had in part 1 of this is somebody who's a content creator who does a lot of stuff related to Disney Channel. But Noah, I feel like you have a different niche of the Disney fandom covered. You have a lot of...
Real quick, though, also a former Disney College Program cast member was our first guest.
Yes,
Lily
yes,
was as
yes.
well, yes.
But I was going to say, I feel like you lean in a lot to Disney parks and Disney music.
Yes, I do.
So... talk about that a little bit.
No, I don't think I will. That's all to say. No, I mean, I grew up as a musical child, and I am still a musical adult. And the two parallel paths in my life have always been music and Disney parks. They've been the two things that I've been passionate and obsessed with my whole life. So when I started making content, and I was asking myself what I wanted to make, I just wanted to combine the two. And so the last 4 years has been me exploring the nerdiest, most obscure Disney park music and shining a light on it and letting the public know there was a Thunder Mountain song and things of that nature. So, there's layers and layers and layers of Disney music and layers of Disney parks music. And if there were to be a Phineas and Ferb ride, I would talk about it.
Yes. Well, hopefully someday soon.
I met Noah for the first time 15 minutes ago, and I already feel like you're like my long-lost twin or something.
And boy, do we go way back, Alex.
Yeah, boy, do
Let me
we.
tell you.
Yeah. What's specifically as it relates to Phineas and Ferb, what's your kind of like relationship to that show been like?
I grew up, so I'm the world's last millennial. I grew up in I was born in January 96. And so
that's the last one for sure.
I'm the world's last millennial or the world's first Gen Z, depending on who you ask. Whatever's in more favor. And so Phineas and Ferb came out like peak Noah preteen. And so I was absolutely obsessed with it when it came out. And when the iPod came out, I don't know if you guys are you guys old enough to remember when the iPod came out?
Yeah, I remember the devices they used in the early seasons of Phineas and Ferb from 2008.
Yeah, well, I had an iPod. I don't remember if it was a nano or a mini, but the screen was like 1 by 1.5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought on iTunes the Dude, We're Getting the Band Back Together episode, and I would watch it religiously on my 1 by 1.5 inch screen on my iPod mini.
That's not where I thought that was going. I thought you were going to say you bought the soundtrack, but by buying the episode, you got even the songs from that episode that didn't make it on the soundtrack.
Yeah. No, that episode was, and let's be honest, it still is burned into my brain. And I had a few others, but that's the one I can remember, like sitting in the bleachers at swim practice in like 6th grade, watching it instead of swimming and just eating it up.
I'm sure your
hopefully
coach
not while
loved
you were
that.
in the water.
No, well, I don't have that iPod anymore, and so maybe it drowned. But I grew up. I remember where I was that day that. It was that crazy Disney Channel day where Phineas and Ferb premiered in High School Musical 2 and whatever. Then there was a third one, the Jonas Brothers. I don't know. But
the Jonas Brothers on Hannah Montana, yeah.
Yeah. And that was like the biggest day in Disney Channel history.
Origin of the turntables.
Yes. And that was the Phineas and Ferb premiere. And that is such a vivid memory in my friend Owen's basement watching what would become one of my favorite shows. And then also, I remember aging out of it. I remember being obsessed with season 1 and season 2, and I never turned it off. I never was like, I don't want to watch Phineas and Ferb anymore. But I don't remember anything about season 3 or 4, which means that at some point, like, I just graduated from Disney Channel as a whole. And so, honestly, you could show me things from season 3 and 4, and you could convince me that it's the new season, and I would.
How did you figure out what we did?
Dang it, he's on to us.
This is an old episode.
This has been a ruse.
Yeah, but obviously the music is a crazy important part of the show, and as a musician, it really stuck with me. And as a man who basically, I would say one of the things I do the best is style pastiche, and being a stylistic chameleon. The music in Phineas and Ferb does exactly that, and so really it rubbed me the right way.
I think especially this season, like they've been covering it already felt like they covered so many genres in the early episodes of the show, but like now they've added like bossa nova and like metal, and we'll get into it
whatever the Haberdashers one was.
We'll get into it when we talk about
Wonderland-y.
This episode, but I feel like they added like classic like Disney princess like to that repertoire now.
They certainly did.
Yeah, I kind of, Noah, had the same experience as you in a way about kind of like graduating from Phineas and Ferb unconsciously. And then when Disney Plus was launched in 2019, I went back to it and I was like, there's so much of this show I've never seen. This is amazing.
It's amazing. I remember during the pandemic, Candace Against the Universe came out during the pandemic.
Yeah, August 2020.
And
that was all that was going on.
That was the first thing I had seen of Phineas and Ferb that I really sat down and watched in a while. And it was like, man, like I missed being here. Like it's such a comfort show for many, many reasons, but one of them is its formula and its love for its own formula, and to just get thrown back into that universe was it felt like a hug.
Yeah, and speaking of formula, I think we're here to talk about one of the most normal Phineas and Ferb episodes that we've ever seen. Bread Bowl Hot Tub.
Definitely a classic Phineas and Ferb formula.
Bread Bowl Hot
It's interesting because because like you say, Noah, the formula of Phineas and Ferb is obviously very important, but we've talked a lot on this podcast about how season 5 feels like it's so comfortable in knowing that the viewer knows that formula that it is more than happy to subvert it. And like we've talked about how things like even like the typical catchphrases like "what you doing" and "curse you Perry the platypus," they're like almost taking a back seat, and they're not even necessarily there anymore because they're going for all these subversions.
I mean, the characters of Phineas and Ferb are barely there lately.
Arguably, yeah. But in place of that, I feel like this season did establish a new running gag that I would say has been more consistent than any of the traditional ones.
Bread Bowl Hot Tub.
And that is the Bread Bowl Hot Tub leading up to this bit. So I checked the wiki for this episode because I obviously it's been brought up at many points leading up to this. It's been exactly 10, and this is episode 17 of the season. So in the majority of the episodes have begun with Buford either requesting the Bread Bowl Hot Tub or Phineas and Ferb being like, we're going to do it. And then something goes wrong, and it all led us here.
Yeah, I feel like going into this, at least I was kind of thinking, this better be good after all this build up. And, boy howdy. It was, I think, incredible, excellent, one of the best ones of the entire season. I feel like historically other people have kind of gotten Buford a little bit more than I do. And this was really the Buford show, the Buford episode. I really liked every single second of it. And I was trying to kind of, I won't jump ahead to the end yet, but I did think the beginning was funny. In particular, we don't often see, I think, Buford, Baljeet, and Isabella all kind of passively waiting around for like, all right, Phineas and Ferb are about to come out with their plan. I wonder what it's going to be. And
do you think they're at the point where they're just inviting themselves over now?
Oh yeah, well, they're there every single day. They're just, what if Phineas, when they walked out, like, what are you guys doing here? We didn't invite you. No, but
yeah, I think the only single instance in the season in which the three of them were not involved was when Phineas and Ferb were on a cruise ship with their family.
True.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny to that because it feels like the cameras are rolling too early. Like it almost feels like a glimpse behind the scenes of like, well, the leads haven't come here. What are we doing? That's very consistent with the particularly meta jokes that are happening in larger quantity in season 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it reminds me of
agree.
one of, I think, for some reason, this moment in Disney Channel sitcom history really stuck in my head in Austin and Ally, when like Dez walks into the music store and talks to Ally and is like, "Oh hey, is Austin around? No, he's not. Is Trish around? Oh no." And then it's just the two of them, and they're like in this friend group together. But when it's just the two of them, they have absolutely no idea what to say to each other. They're just like, "Oh, I guess we don't really hang out much, do we?"
And I'm gonna be honest, I've been there before. I've been there before with people.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. It happens.
It's like before Zach and I joined this Zoom call.
No, we were having a great
No,
time.
Alex and I go way back.
Yeah,
We said that earlier. Come on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One thing I didn't really notice till my second watch is when Phineas and Ferb come out and start doing the whole here's the Bread Bowl Hot Tub and this yeast and all that, is that Ferb basically presses a button and this big like drilling vehicle drives over from like out of nowhere, and then press another button and then another truck kind of just backs up, and it's like, were these vehicles just like sitting in the backyard the whole time and no one noticed or saw them?
They've had contractors sitting nearby just waiting for the cue.
I feel like in this season in particular, they have messed around with the dimensions of the backyard and what is available to the backyard more than probably any other season of the show so far.
I mean, they were doing it in season 1.
Yeah, but
the backyard
one of the
beach.
First episodes, they like made an entire backyard.
Okay,
with,
I know.
There was a backyard beach, Zach.
And they've had like, this is our next door neighbor. You've been there the whole time, right? Like they've.
Yes, but I feel like in this season it's been a little more egregious, like with that bend in the backyard and with the random F that's on the fence now and stuff.
Well, and they had the Hadron Collider. That was the gag and Bend It.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
they're having fun with it. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, don't come at me. I knew there was a beach in the backyard.
Well, why limit yourself or why limit themselves by something that is basically a blank slate? The backyard is just green with yellow fence, and it can be as big as they want to serve whatever function they deem worthy.
I know. I'm just being nitpicky.
All right. Before we get super into Buford, I think this was actually one of the most interesting Phineas episodes we've seen in a while from like a character point of view. Because I've kind of been joking throughout a lot of the season, like, oh, Phineas secretly really doesn't want to do the bread bowl hot tub and he thinks it's a terrible idea. And I think
That's
we kind
funny.
of got soft confirmation of that in a previous episode when they all kind of groaned, and again, especially here. But we do see, so when we get the hot tub, Buford goes in, he's swimming around in the soup, he's all excited, and he's inviting the friends in. And Isabella and Baljeet basically give like pretty clear excuses for like, no thanks, I don't really want to. And Phineas takes the angle of, why don't you have a moment alone with your soup? So I kind of hope they keep digging into this. Like, Phineas is very like non-confrontational, especially with his friends. He can't get himself to say just like, I don't want to go in. He has to say like, he has to come with this thing like, oh, I have a moment alone. And I feel like if they really dig into this weakness of Phineas a little more, it could actually kind of blow up in his face at one point if he like refuses to like disagree with his friends or like bring up any, you know, have any conflict with them.
want the melodrama within the friend group is what I want.
Yeah.
I want the inability to say a negative thought.
Yeah.
Do you think like Phineas is just like a huge people pleaser?
Yeah, definitely. Well, and
But to the point where it's a flaw.
Where's the Phineas goes to therapy episode?
no, I completely agree with you, Alex. I think it was interesting, a little bit Isabella and Baljeet as well, because they're usually just such a well-oiled group, but especially Phineas. I think as far as giving him like other dimensions and emotional range, I really liked this episode for it. We were kind of criticizing the Nightmare-inator a little bit because it's like every character had a nightmare that kind of poked at their insecurities, except like, but Phineas didn't have one at all. And it's maybe because the show, in efforts to keep Phineas such an optimist and such a little ball of ambition, maybe you don't humanize him quite as much, but like, I think this episode did a really great job at it. It's like, it's not his favorite. He's still going to do it for his friend. And you could hear it in Vincent Martella's performance. Like, it was just, he sounded more human. And I liked that.
Yeah. I want more of this type of Phineas moving forward.
Why does want more Phineas in general?
Okay, Isabella.
As somebody who just got into this episode sort of without having watched the entirety of the season, I was surprised at how little Phineas and Ferb there was in this episode. Not inherently in a bad way. I was just surprised.
Yeah.
It feels
this
like
episode specifically had very little of anything except for Buford.
Yeah. Didn't have much of a B plot.
Yeah.
I feel like one of my favorite aspects of Buford's character that I think was really prominent in this episode was I feel like Buford could like see a building on fire and just be like, well, that's that. Like, I think the fact that he is completely transported to a place he's never been before and he doesn't panic and just decides to make the most of it. I think that's the core of Buford's character, being in like the worst situations and just being like, could be worse. And I like that element in this episode.
Yeah. He's had that character trait for a while because, like, I think of Summer Belongs to You where he's like, my horoscope said I'd be lifting an ox. Like, he doesn't question it. He just goes with it. And when you're friends with Phineas and Ferb, I guess weird shit's happening around.
He doesn't question
all the time.
anything.
Yeah.
He's game.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I had no idea where this episode was going to go. I don't think any of us did. It reminded me of when we got the Duflicated promo, where like the Duflicatinator or whatever it was, blasted off into the backyard and hits all 5 kids and gives them all Doofenshmirtz's personality. It was this very big, sudden, like, wow, unexpected moment where you're like, oh, maybe it'll hit one of them or something. And I feel like they did the exact same type of perfect misdirect with Buford saying, I wonder where Perry is, and then he gets blasted away. Because
that did make me laugh. That got a chortle out of me.
That really got me. And that, I think, is a perfect example of what's the right way to subvert the formula. Because obviously the I wonder where Perry is, you're expecting, all right, we're going to go over to Perry. He's going to go into the lair, like happens most of the time. But the great thing about I wonder where Perry is, then he gets blasted away, is he doesn't realize that it's actually Perry making him blast away. Because where's Perry? It's over at Doofenshmirtz's building with a carboanator.
Which, one of my favorite gags in the whole series is like Doof being like, Perry, don't thwart me for making healthy life choices.
Yeah.
And Perry just concedes and he backs away.
I think they have some of the healthiest relationships in the show.
Oh, completely agree.
So then Buford goes to an island, and he's stabbing fish with the wrong end of the rod, and he's throwing coconuts at the birds. And then the bread bowl hot tub gets named Chowdina and starts to talk and is voiced by Diane Morgan and tells him to learn to commune with nature. And I'd forgotten, basically, this is one of the songs that was on the soundtrack. So I listened to it a few months ago, and I think it was the only song on the soundtrack that was in like this back half of the season. So I was like, oh, there it is. There's Commune with Nature. What a great song.
Yeah, did you listen to it when the soundtrack came out, or did you wait until the episode?
Yeah, I waited until the episode. I did not hear it until we watched it a couple days ago.
It was I had heard like the first 10 seconds, but I was like, no, I'm a wait. And I'm glad I did, because that sequence was delightful. I thought, like, visually and then also musically, it was, they were having a lot of fun with it.
I do want to say one thing before we dive into the music.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but for some reason, I was surprised when they filled the bread bowl with chowder. Because I was assuming that it was just going to be hot water. Am I an idiot? Yeah. And I'm like, that obviously makes less sense. That obviously is the worst choice. But when they were like, and we were up all night shucking clams or whatever they said, I was like, oh yeah, that's what you put in a bread bowl. Like it hadn't even considered the fact of what you would put in the bread bowl, because it's a hot tub. You put hot water in a hot tub.
Yeah, I think, honestly, between the 10 episodes where this was mentioned, I think the fact that Buford wanted chowder in the hot tub was the reason why they were putting it off for so long. And also probably why they didn't get in. Like, I think had it been water, they would have done it on like day 2 or something.
And had I watched all of the episodes, I would not have been so shocked.
No, it's all good. It is funny to hear the context of, because we've been hearing about this bread bowl hot tub for like 6 months now. And so the concept is just completely normalized to us.
Yeah. Even though it took Alex a while to get over that they weren't saying Red Bull hot tub.
Yeah, the first time this was mentioned, I thought Buford was saying Red Bull hot tub. And I was like, they can say Red Bull?
Can I say something to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zach texted me this morning, and I think he used voice to text because it said Red Bull.
Did it say
hot
Red
tub.
Bull? That must have been it. Yeah, dude, I was at Disney, and I was just like walking backstage, and I was like, yeah, blah, 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 Red Bull hot tub. I'm so sorry, I didn't even notice that.
No, it made me laugh because I knew what you were talking about.
I have a new marketing pitch for Panera Bread. You have your bread bowls and you fill it with Red Bull.
A bread bowl, Red Bull? Or Red Bull, Bread Bull?
Red Bull.
Red Bull hot tub.
Red Bull, Bread Bull.
That's a song.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a Bread Bull, Red Bull is a song.
Write it, Noah.
And you know what's crazy is the Carboanator gave the bread bowl wings. Bread bowl.
It did.
There's something there.
Sponsor us, Red Bull.
Gets your wings.
So true.
We're on to something.
Something there.
I will say I also wrote in all caps when the bread bowl started talking, is that Kunk?
Oh yeah, tell us about Diane Morgan, because I was not familiar with this actress.
Wait, do you know Diane Morgan?
Okay, so I wrote, is that Kunk? Because I recognized her voice from her character Kunk and her satirical documentaries, Kunk on Life, Kunk on Earth, and she is that sort of dry, supposed to be knowledgeable but isn't character. And so I was so delighted that such a wild character would be voiced by somebody who plays such a wild character. And apparently I'm the only one with knowledge about her on this podcast.
Yeah, because she's on that like satire British talk show.
I had no idea. When you said, is it Kunk? I was like, I need an explanation. I don't know what Kunk is, man.
You don't know the TikTok sound of the like, most Egyptians believe that the thing with the you see, it would have been funnier if I remembered the line.
Well, you saying that actually makes me realize how perfect that casting is, because even though she's meant, like kind of pitched as like this prophet character, like she is part of Buford's subconscious, so therefore cannot possibly have any wisdom that surpasses Buford himself.
But sounds fancy and classy.
Right. False wisdom is a very good fit for her. And a very good fit for the inside of Buford's brain.
Yeah. I want to bring up, shortly after Chowdina gets introduced, we get a nice homage to the Tom Hanks movie Castaway with him having
Volleyball G.
Volleyball G, which is an incredible
that's fantastic
wordplay they did. Is that blood?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
No, he says, I think the last time you see him, like, my face is blood or something.
Yeah, and I'm like, first of all, whose blood is that? Second of all, I'm surprised that made it past the censors on Disney. Third of all, I think it's very funny that Buford doing a Baljeet impression is like, it has the potential to be problematic, but it's such a bad, insane impression that like you can't even think of it like that. Because you have Bobby Gaylor doing this, like, who it sounds like if a child was a chain smoker, and then you have him doing falsetto on top of that.
Like, it's so many layers.
Yeah.
I feel like Buford's impression of Baljeet and Phineas and Isabella are the same voice.
Yeah.
And you know what's really funny? When I started watching these episodes, I watched Dinner Reservations and then Bread Bowl Hot Tub.
Yes.
I wrote down Buford sounds older, which is strange because he's one of the only kids voiced by a full adult.
No, how old is Bobby Gaylor? I feel like I want to pull this up.
Yeah, he was one of the only ones that, like, from the beginning was voiced by a full adult.
The only one that's been an adult from 2000s, from the 2000s.
Yeah, Bobby Gaylor is, he's 2 days older than my dad. I just found his birthday. He's 58.
Yeah.
They should be friends.
I'll hook him up.
I mean, he didn't sound different. I was just, in listening to him suddenly, I was like, oh, there's some interesting things that either I didn't catch from the original seasons or has been added to his voice just from age. I don't know.
Well, also, you're a voice actor, too, so I feel like now watching the show with a more older, like, mentality and having that voice actor POV that you maybe didn't have when you were a kid, you pick up on stuff like that a little easier.
Oh, sure. And I remember growing up and learning more about voiceover and being more aware of the qualities of voiceover as an art form at the same time watching Phineas and Ferb and hearing Vincent go through puberty. In the first 5 episodes.
Yeah.
It was
Phineas is so different.
It was wild to I'm learning about this and I'm watching this happen in real time and seeing how his voice has evolved, that I feel like from season 3 onward it stayed pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about implications for Buford's character.
Sure.
Because as was brought up, everything Chowdina says is somewhere in Buford's subconscious. So I feel like, in a way, and we've sort of seen this with Buford a little bit, that he's trying to kind of balance when he needs to be a quote unquote bully and balance his aggressive side with his more protective, nurturing side.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see that in how is he approaching the elements, that, first he tries to be aggressive, and then he has this other part of his brain telling him you gotta calm down, you gotta try to be friends with the birds, you gotta try and be more peaceful and stuff. And I feel like, and you kind of saw that same sort of push and pull as they were sailing on the water. It's
mm-hmm.
All right, when is he playing cards with the octopus, and when is he standing up to shout at the tidal wave, and so I feel like they're really, of all the kids, I think they seem to be most intent on adding layers and complexity to him.
But I feel like
definitely.
I wonder if they've always done that, though, because, I mean, Buford, his bullying has definitely gone down as the seasons have progressed, to the point where he barely bullies anymore.
Yeah, we pointed out on the last episode, it was the moment where he picked up and shook Baljeet almost was surprising because he doesn't do that much anymore. And at the beginning of this episode, he has a moment like that with Ferb where he's just so excited that he's shaking Ferb around. It feels like he still has those physical impulses, but he has also matured and doesn't lean into them unless there's a reason for it.
This is post-therapy Buford.
Yeah.
He's learning how to channel it.
I am surprised that he would be so eager to hunt and kill fish given his relationship with Biff.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all fish are as special as Biff.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I realized he fought a squid to get Biff back, but he couldn't catch any fish. His skill set varies from episode to episode.
He wasn't in the same headspace.
That's true.
On the topic of that scene where he's catching fish, and I guess this will kind of transition back into the music a little bit.
Yes.
Initially, I noticed some of this sounded like it was a pastiche of Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid, just some of the incidental music. And then I looked at the wiki and I realized that that music they were using is from Lawn Gnome Beach Party of Terror. It was the instrumental of a cut song called Limbo, which you can hear on Charter Schoolgirl's channel. And the instrumental still made it in. It's got this Hawaiian kind of vibe to it.
Now that's the level of nerdity that I like to see.
Exactly. And that was, I'm sure when they made London Beach Party of Terror, that may have been subtly inspired by Little Mermaid. But then we get Commune with Nature, and this is the Disney homage.
This entire episode felt Disney. I mean, with the Circle of Life reference at the end.
There's so many references to
Moana,
Disney and just films with
Castaway.
with Castaway and Little Mermaid and Lion King and Moana. It really felt like a big ol' like we're taking big swings, so we're gonna do some Little Hero's Journey homages.
Yeah. As someone who knows far more about music and songwriting and chord progressions and whatnot than we do you have any particular takes on Commune with Nature?
Well, it's so clearly a classic pastiche of something like the Sherman Brothers. My first instinct was Let's Go Fly a Kite, just because it's also in 6/8.
Yes.
But there's so many songs from the Disney canon from the 50s and 60s that are waltzes, essentially. And God love the waltz. It's really fallen out of style. So when you hear something like that, it really does give that classic musical theater vibe. And watching somebody like try and learn something, try and overcome a hurdle, try and learn a skill, like he's trying to commune with nature, obviously. And that very much harkens to that classical musical theater trope of, oh, it's so easy, just try this, as they're like learning, or like, we got to put this thing together. And they got, they go, they build a barn or something. And it felt it felt so reminiscent of your classic musical theater, not only the Sherman Brothers, but also moving back even further to like a Rodgers and Hammerstein, where it really it feels timeless.
It is. It felt very timeless, and it felt like if I was in a playlist of, on Spotify of like Disney I Want songs, it feels right at home. It wouldn't feel jarring or out of left field or anything.
Except for the voice.
Well, the voice, the voice is probably you're not going to hear, like Jodie Benson or Lea Salonga, like.
And I give them credit for leaning into that on the arrangement side as well, because I'm pretty sure that is like a faux orchestra. Like, you can very easily do like band arrangements, and they have to great success, but they really went full down the rabbit hole of this is a beautiful, lush 60s Sherman Brothers sound. And the joke of it, besides the premise being over the top, is that it's this beautiful, incredible orchestral sound, a classical melody and chord progression, all supporting this crazy, unpleasant voice.
Yeah.
And I say that with love.
It can't be comfortable to sing like that.
Yeah, and I feel like that kind of push and pull is very sort of like the exclamation point at the end of the song when Nature's going, "We love you too, Buford," and he screams and runs away.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like that's a really great distilled expression of like, oh no, Nature's communing back with me too. This is scary.
Yeah.
Which also is very Disney, because you got like Snow White, who talks with all the animals, even though they're not talking back.
And we haven't mentioned yet the moment in the middle of the song where it just is the Little Mermaid. He's got the wave washing up behind him.
Yes. Oh, it's such a good shot.
And he painted the little like skull on him that looked like the Sid shirt from Toy Story. I don't know how intentional that was. It was just a skull, but I noticed.
He always has the skull on his shirt though, so maybe that was it.
That makes so much more sense than what I just said.
But maybe it was always a Toy Story reference.
No, I can't believe that I said that with full confidence. And you're like, well, he always has the skull on his shirt. Of course he does.
It's all good, man.
So interestingly, the Commune with Nature song was written solely by Dan Povenmire and Sophia James, who has sung a couple of the songs this season, but she sang When the Tri-State Aurora Comes Around and Pet Wash. So not their typical songwriting team. On top of that, and this is jumping ahead a little bit, this episode had a really cool end credit sequence. And because there's a completely different song at the end called Bread Bowl Hot Tub. And when it came on, I was like, have I heard this before? And I had. It's because this was a song that was written after Phineas and Ferb season 5 premiered in June. So like after people had already gotten used to the Bread Bowl Hot Tub running gag, and this was just a fan, Jilly the band, who makes music on TikTok, just wrote like this little song with hashtag Justice for Buford. And I guess Dan and Swampy liked the song so much, and they had enough time from the season 5 premiere to when this episode aired the other day to just put it in. So this person who was a fan, I don't even think they're like that big in terms of follower count, but clearly very talented, just got to become part of Phineas and Ferb.
Noah, if there's a running gag in season 6, write a song about it, and then it might.
You say that, my first thought, I'm like, there's hope for me yet.
I mean, it just goes to show if you write a song about a bread bowl hot tub and put it online, then it might go in the end credits of the episode about the bread bowl hot tub.
And I've always said that.
This is the lesson we can generalize.
My horoscope said that. I was confused at the time.
And you know what? I'm delighted by this fact. And I also, again, in my notes that I wrote down, had some qualms with the rhyme scheme of the ending song.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So you're not attacking Disney, you're attacking a random TikToker.
No, now I feel bad.
It's okay.
I wrote down, I was like, well, loaf and toast don't really rhyme. It's kind of a stretch.
It's like a slant rhyme. Okay, like it's the kind of rhyme. I'm writing a musical with another friend of mine that Noah's actually helping me with. And my co-producer of that musical really likes having slant rhymes that don't really work. So it works for some people.
It's the kind of rhyme that you would write in like a draft of a song just to post on TikTok for fun, to not expect anything to come out of it.
And then 5 million people watch it on TV.
And then it just happened. That's not their fault. They didn't expect. I just posted a daylight saving song where I rhymed night with night, and I didn't know that I did that.
Yeah, so then imagine that now that goes on a TV show, and I'm sitting here going, I can't believe you rhymed night with night.
I mean, what did he think? A rhyme scheme was going to fall out of the sky?
And then there's these schmucks having a podcast, and they're just, oh my God. So no hate, only love to this creator. If it was Disney, I would be more finger waggling. But you know what?
Oh, don't worry. We've waggled our fingers a few times throughout the run of this podcast.
Oh my God.
Not with this pair, though.
This pair of episodes solid. We've been very complimentary of.
Shout out Sunny for writing this one.
All right, I have one more kind of general thing that I was kind of getting really thinky about, because I was trying to sort of consider like, okay, so the bread bowl hot tub obviously is very important to Buford for some reason, and at the end, before she dies, she says, "Thank you for believing in me." So I was kind of trying to be like, so what is it specifically about the bread bowl hot tub that Buford believes in, and why does he care so much? It's just kind of like, oh, she defeated the odds to come into existence. I just persevere. It's just, I don't know, what's the connection?
Well, I think Phineas kind of says it himself at the beginning of the episode. He's like, sometimes persistence to the point of being annoying really pays off. And like, this was something that Buford had to fight for the whole summer. Exactly.
God, don't remind me.
That's what I got out of it.
Also, I have a gripe with Phineas and the gang. Well, not really with them, just with the timeline of this episode. Because first off, we have that sequence of Buford like going through the ocean, which, by the way, is so beautifully animated.
That was really well done.
This is, in my opinion, one of the most visually stunning episodes of the whole series.
Both halves.
But then it's nighttime. Like, Buford travels overnight to get back to the backyard. And yet, when we get back, Baljeet, Isabella, and Phineas are still just lying back there in their swim trunks and bathing suits, like in the backyard, like, hey, where'd you go? As if like an hour passed. Which makes me wonder, was this in Buford's imagination, or did the three of them literally just camp outside all night waiting for Buford to come back?
That's a good point. I didn't know.
Because they're still in their swimsuits.
Maybe the bread was the bowl we made along the way.
There's our cold open.
Yeah. No, I do think, because they make the joke near the beginning, like, Buford, you've been here for 4 minutes. I think this probably canonically is like, at most, like half an hour. And the nighttime thing is what's maybe in Buford's imagination too. Is like this long journey, you know.
Because it felt like the sun was setting on Chowdina in that moment.
It really did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was it.
Really makes you think.
The last thing that I want to point out on the topic of the Chowdina death scene.
Wait, I just saw your note. It's making me laugh.
Yeah, so she she tries to cheer him up, or I guess Buford's subconscious is cheering himself up by like, oh yeah, I'm going away, but circle of life, I'll become part of fish food, and then I'll grow into wheat, and I'll once again enter this circle. It reminded me a lot of Living with the Land, and I think between Dinner Reservations, which had a spinning restaurant, and Bread Bowl Hot Tub, which has this agricultural cycle.
Wow.
There's no better place you could watch this pair of episodes than in the Land Pavilion at Epcot.
What this pair of episodes is really a backdoor pilot for the Land Pavilion Phineas and Ferb overlay, and I cannot be told otherwise.
I would love that. I love Garden Grill. I love that. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean they took out the World Showcase Adventure at Epcot, so they got to put Phineas and Ferb somewhere.
And I'm going to say that I'm so glad you said that, because I also thought that in that sequence, and I was like, there's no way I can bring this up and not sound foolish.
You're with the right nerds.
It's just the thing that I have hyperfixated on my whole life. That's why I'm thinking of that. There's no way that it actually reminds people of that. So I feel validated. Thank you very much for that.
My girlfriend and Andrew's roommate, Julia, loves Living with the Land, and there's plenty of Living with the Land reference in this apartment.
Thank goodness.
And then that also ended with that shot of the teardrop turning into Buford or diving in. That was just such a beautiful sequence. I want to watch this episode over and over again.
Yeah, honestly, the second time on my rewatch, I almost found myself getting slightly emotional when Chowdina died, just because it felt like Buford was like losing a part of himself.
It'll be extra sad when we see the Gajinka version of her dying.
Oh.
Yeah, but she'll stay in his heart forever.
Yeah.
The voice was just a coping mechanism.
Well, that's what's fun about having the ability to dive into these characters more in these later seasons, is that we're able to see different sides of them. And then when like he just went through a whole journey, and we get to see his hardship and his love and sadness, and who knew that we would feel these things about this man.
See, yeah, I completely agree. And once again, at the very end of the episode, again, we get basically Isabella saying, glad we got out of that one. And it's like, why couldn't you have either just said, we don't want to, or like, hey, Buford, we will make this just for you as a gift to you, and we won't go in. And he probably would have been fine with it.
But you know who did want to go in?
Ferb.
All
right. But I have one final question for everyone. If you had to choose one liquid to swim in besides water, which liquid would you choose?
This is a terrible question. I mean, it's a great question. It just makes me uncomfortable.
Gelatin.
I guess that's kind of a liquid.
It's a gray area.
Curry flavored.
Can I say like lemonade?
You can.
Is that
sure?
That's actually not allowed.
I didn't read the rules. I'm sorry. I was like, no, that's like 1/3 water. I don't know.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of like liquids that aren't like drinkable, but I'm coming up. Oh, just to be different.
Bleach.
No, I don't want to do bleach. You know what? I'm just gonna say an Arnold Palmer.
Ooh, fancy.
You know, I would probably honestly go with like ramen and broth. I'll swim around with the noodles.
Ooh.
I feel like that's the move.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah, sure.
Full fat coconut cream.
Oh.
It sounds delightful.
That sounds slow. Thick.
That's what they call me.
All right, before we sign off, Noah, would you like to plug yourself? Where can the people see you, find you, look for you, discover you, etc.?
Plug myself for free?
Yeah.
No. Of course. You can find me on all the social medias at Noah Sunday-Lefkowitz. I'm not going to spell my name because I'll let you try and do that. And I am on the TikTok, on the Instagram, on the YouTube. I'm not on the Twitter because I do mostly music and video related stuff, and I don't feel like I have a lot to say typing wise. But along with all of the social media, I do live shows, and I am doing a live show, a live Disney holiday show on December 8th in NoHo, California, that I will be doing with your very own Zach Timson making a guest appearance.
I'm going to be in one of the songs I'm very thrilled about. It's a follow-up to a previous song that we did together.
What possibly could be a follow-up to a Jungle Cruise in a Christmas show? We don't know, but we'll have to figure it out. And for all of you Phineas and Ferb fans, there is going to be a surprise special guest that is very related to Phineas and Ferb that I dare not speak their name, but
Chowdina.
you got Chowdina's in the show. It's God, that's such a good idea. She was a hard get because she was like very liquidy by the end, but we got her. But if you want to come see
It's
who
always
that
a good
is,
show when they're liquidy by the end.
well,
I'm
she
gonna cut that
starts.
out.
She. If you want to see who the surprise Phineas and Ferb guest is, go to any of my social medias, and the ticket link for tickets is in my bio, and you will not be disappointed as a Phineas and Ferb fan. So come to see the show and follow me wherever you follow people that you want to follow.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Noah.
Woo.
Thank you for having
yeah.
me. This is fun.
And as we say at the end of every episode, cloudy with a chance of broth.
Cloudy with a chance of broth.
And I've always said that.
Hey, I know what we're gonna analyze. The episodes in season 5. Hope it brings you laughter.
And I will be loping for forever, loping you.
This is